On this episode of MythBusters,
Come on, stay up there.
it's a wind special. As the team sparks up an American classic. Did Ben Franklin really fly a kite in a storm and survive a bolt from the blue?
Oh.
Meanwhile, both Adam and Jamie are getting ready
Weird. It's not bad.
to tastefully test some scientific facts about flatulence.
Roger that. We have flatus contained.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
Ants are all over my head, man.
and Jamie Heineman.
Gets me all worked up just looking at it.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
That was heavy.
Joining them, Grant Imahara,
Go get him, boy.
Tori Belleci,
Whoa.
and Carrie Byron.
That was crazy!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. First up, a blast from the past as Carrie, Grant, and Tori test an American legend.
You got their little doll?
No, it's called an action figure, and it's Ben Franklin.
Is this the classic tale where Ben Franklin takes a kite out into a storm, flies it, it gets hit by lightning, and a key that he's tied to the end gets charged, and he discovers electricity?
Hey, I've heard that in every schoolroom I've ever been in. Because I've been in a lot.
Apparently, there's a little bit of controversy surrounding it. They think, well, did he actually fly the kite? Was he able to get something in the air in a storm? Could he have done it without getting killed?
What sounds really, really dangerous.
It could be very dangerous.
Or it could be a lot of fun.
Fun fact or fiction, Franklin's kite-flying bolt from the blue is a myth that took the U.S. by storm. But did this famous spark in the dark really happen?
So what we've got to do is start out with the kite and see if we could build a kite that will fly using period materials with Benjamin Franklin's specifications.
Definitely gonna have to do some small-scale testing on conductivity.
Yes, just to see if the string can actually get that charge all the way down to the key.
And then another problem I see is finding a storm, getting the kite in the storm, and having it hit by lightning.
Without killing all of us.
Yeah, that seems like it's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah.
Let's start with building the kites.
Where they can follow Franklin's recipe, because he wrote most of it down. The square frame was made of cedar, and the material was a silk handkerchief. On the top of the kite was a lightning rod, and at the end of the string, the key. And lastly, Franklin flew it out of a window so that he didn't get dangerously damp.
Hey, Grant, you want to make the little kite while I make the big kite?
Sure.
No one knows the precise size of Franklin's kite, but silk hankies of his time were either 10 by 10 inches or 3 foot square. So the team is first going to build several of each size to see which flies best.
Come on, stay up there. Stay up there.
With the kites coming together, the team leaps from preschool to postgrad in a quest for the best string.
The next part of the myth is we have to measure the resistance of the string that we're going to use for this. And we have here the high resistance meter. So I need a 1-inch sample of each type of string we're going to try.
They're calculating which of the 18th century twines is the best conductor.
0.48 nano Siemens.
Because that will have the highest chance of conducting the electrical strike from the kite to the key.
Now check this out. There's a difference in conductance between these two pieces of string. And in fact, the thicker one has much higher conductance.
So that's what they're going to use. And that means all that remains is the key.
If my keys were this big, I would never lose them.
Franklin never specified what sort of key he used, so Carrie's got a bunch to choose from.
So our researchers have found that this key belongs to the most common lock that you might find in Benjamin Franklin's days. So we're thinking this is the most likely candidate that we could use.
The key's been locked down. Now, with the traditional kite strung up with the authentic hemp twine, it's time to see which of the two sizes is the high flyer.
I think she should definitely run with it.
Okay.
Go, Carrie Byron. Run, Forrest!
You're almost there!
Carrie's running like the wind, but for now, her big kite can't even get off the ground. Can Grant's tiny rival do any better?
Go.
Go. Go.
Stability appears to be an issue.
You don't say. Grant's kite is doing more spins than a washing machine. And Carrie's has the same problem. So Team Tiny ties on a rock for added stability. But then the kite turns psycho.
Hey, it's the death kite, the kite of punishment. Oh!
That made it all worthwhile.
Just gotta stretch it out a little.
While Tori massages his rocks from the rock, the others don't get any further.
I don't think it's supposed to do that.
If they're hoping to get this myth up and running, they're going to need a second wind.
Go. These kites are dangerous.
Meanwhile, a different wind is brewing for Adam and Jamie.
Facts about flatulence. What kind of facts are there about flatulence?
This is actually classic Mythbuster territory. We're going to investigate all of the things people have ever wanted to know about flatulence.
You mean like when the guy passed so much gas that he suffocated?
Yep. Or does lighting a match dissipate the smell of Chanel number 2? Then finally, there are foods that make you pass more gas than other foods, like beans.
The Mythbusters have ranked the top rank myths, and none get any bigger than death by flatus.
So, we got flattest to death. This is a myth about a large man living on a diet of beans and cabbage in a small, close room who apparently suffocated by inhaling the deadly cloud of gas that hung above him.
It's a myth from the bowels of the internet. But is this story toilet trash, or does it have a ring of truth? Can flatulence really be fatal?
You know, in order to get started with this, we have to physically determine the actual size of a flatus and what its constituent components are.
Well, that means we have to come up with some sort of device to actually catch a flatus, right?
Since the one place you normally see them is in the bathtub, I'm thinking of using a rig that uses water and a bathtub to actually capture them.
So before the boys can test the death by toxic flatulence myth, they first need to learn exactly what gases are found therein. So Adam's building a bath-based flatus catcher.
This would be the capture funnel of my flatus catcher.
If it does its job, they can then take the trapped air to a lab to be analyzed.
I don't know why you didn't just use a balloon, stuck it in your butt.
Adam's device should trap his trump in a tube as it bubbles up through water. Once trapped, the awful aroma needs to be extracted. And that's where the flatus containment vessel comes in.
So what I'm gonna do now is hook up my vacuum pump to this and pull a vacuum on this. Once I pull a vacuum, I'm gonna close it. Then this thing will be under vacuum. And when I hook it up to the flatus catcher, it's gonna capture the flatus and then I shut it off.
Never has such ingenuity been focused at flatulence.
Oh, hey! That caught it! That was great!
With Adam's trap tuned up and a bubble bath on standby, everything is ready for the main event.
My dignity and good television. They'll never meet.
At least not on this show. But when Adam gets in to give gas, there's a problem.
Oh, God, it's so cold. Oh, dude, that's wrong.
For some reason, the cold water's making me pucker up.
The liquid chill is hindering his digestion. Try as he might, he just can't deliver the goods.
I wasted a really good one at like 6 o'clock this morning. It was like 2 seconds long, like a real kind of thing. Wish I had that now.
Did Ben Franklin fly a kite in a thunderstorm, get struck by lightning via a key, and survive? Not if the MythBusters kite flying team is anything to go by. They've struggled to get a Franklin-inspired kite off the ground, let alone do so in a thunderstorm. But Carrie has a plan B.
I'm making some changes in the kite design. I'm taking advantage of the vagueness of Franklin's article, and I'm changing from the square cedar that we had before to a more flexible doweling. I'm also going to change from a perfect square to a more diamond shape, which is traditionally what more you would think of a kite as looking like.
To get this myth airborne, Carrie's decided to slightly alter Franklin's kite design. She's changing his square shape to a diamond and making the frame of more modern cedar dowel. Meanwhile, the boys are focusing on Franklin's kite-flying shelter. And to start that, Tori's gone window shopping. Literally.
My feeling is wood, because that's what they would have had back in the old days.
To stay true to the myth, they need to try to fly Carrie's new kite out of a window. Because that's what Franklin says he did.
All right, I think I found my window.
And with his purchase in the bag,
We got 1 hour to rip this thing apart and put a new window in.
the race is on to build a room with a view.
Okay, the bathroom's done.
They're recycling a previous MythBusters experiment into Franklin's kite-flying HQ.
You know, I really think the Franklin family is gonna love these new additions we made to their house.
With the preparations well underway,
Job well done.
Nice!
the team can soon put this myth to the test. And there's 3 key things to find out. 1, can a kite attract a charge and conduct it down 18th century string to a key? 2, can the key get charged so much that it will spark to the kite flyer's finger? And 3, can that spark be so great that the kite flyer flatlines? For test 1, can the string conduct a charge to the key? The team hits the beach. They've got their kite flying shelter and Carrie's latest kite. It's a new shape, but the silk and the twine are based on Franklin's original guidelines.
Here we are yet again trying to get a kite into the air. This is our biggest and our best kite.
1, 2, 3.
Hey!
Yeah!
We did it!
Now that the kite has got a second wind, the myth-busting can begin. And for this first test, the fact that there's not a thunderstorm in sight shouldn't be a problem.
Even on a dry day like today, we should be able to develop a static charge. And the reason is that the movement of the air, the wind, across the kite and the string should leave a net electrical charge.
With 500 feet of the good conducting string let out, they're maximizing their chance for success.
Do you want to get in the house and be all ready? You can be Ben Franklin. I'll bring it over to you.
Okay, everything's all ready. All right, hey, we're getting 3.8 kilovolts.
Wow.
4,
Look at that.
6 kilovolts.
We are building.
Test 1's a success. The key's a buzzing.
We're up to almost 10 kilovolts.
With a reading of 10,000 volts, the team moves on to test 2. Can Carrie get a shock off the key?
No sparks. Now that we've gotten it in the air and we've got the copper rod at the end,
Yep.
do you want to bring it down, wet it, and let it back up?
Yeah, I think we should.
To try to get a spark, the team wets the string because water should dramatically increase its conductivity.
Look how much more drag there is on the string this time. It's much heavier with all the water on it.
Despite the extra weight, the new kite is still flying high. So, how's the key?
The charge didn't seem to be building very quickly before, but it is now. Hold it steady. 16, 19, off the scale. You want to try the knuckle test?
Definitely. Nothing.
Okay.
The wet string has more than doubled the voltage, but it's still not enough to get a spark. For that, they're going to have to jolt this experiment up. Can flatulence be fatal? To test this smelly saga, the MythBusters must first learn what gases make up the average Trump.
The FCV!
So, Adams built a stink catcher.
Closing valve number 2.
The dress rehearsal was a breeze.
Roger that. We have Flatus contained.
But for the main event, he's had performance anxiety.
Yeah, you got one?
I think so. Oh, it's a little tiny one. No. Nothing.
Waiting for Adam to bubble up is rather unpleasant. So here's a reassuring announcement about taste.
This particular subject is, you know, it might offend some people if we're not careful.
Well, we have to be very tasteful. And, you know, I think we should start by doing this entire segment without ever once using the word.
Didn't you just do that?
No, they bleep that right out.
Oh, well, the technical term for it is flatus.
And that's where we should begin.
Okay, well, I've also printed out a whole list of euphemisms from the internet.
Voice of the toothless one?
Butt burps.
Trouser cough.
Cologne.
I think you'll be reverting to flatus almost every single time.
I think so.
That's just the kind of tasteful guy you are.
Okay.
Back at the bath, Adam's body has had time to adjust to the cold, and his numb bum starts bubbling.
Hey, we got one! We got a nice 13.5 milliliter Flatus. I think this is the first time anyone's ever tried this on television.
The second, third, and fourth times soon follow through. Then they're logged before the team draws straws to see who has to take them to the lab.
Yet another one of my very unique missions that Jamie and Adam have sent me on. I have 4 specimens of Flatus to bring into the UCSF mass spectrometry facility. They're going to test them and see exactly what's in them.
Lucky, lucky them.
Well, what we're going to do is take this sample, and we'll open up the stopcock at the top. We'll put this syringe in, pull a volume of air out of there, and then we're going to inject it on here. And they will be analyzed to tell what they are.
You know there'll be trouble when it all sounds so simple.
Oh, God.
A quick spray of not so much eau de cologne as eau de colon.
That can't be good for you.
Once injected into the machine, the ingredients of Adam's gastric gas will be broken up according to their mass.
So what are the main constituents of the sample we just took?
So what we're mainly seeing is 28 and 32, which would be nitrogen and oxygen, which of course is the main constituents of our air. There's a little bit of 40, which would be argon, which also is a normal constituent of air. We're seeing some methane and some carbon dioxide.
So it's not just hot air. There is odorless methane and carbon dioxide. And that's not all. Adam's air solute also contains hydrogen sulfide and methyl mercaptan, the smelly gases of Flatus. With the ingredients of Adam's wretched recipe established,
I hope this is the weirdest thing you have to do today.
the team is ready to see if flatulence can be fatal. Flatulence. Like it or not, we all do it. But is it ever possible to pass so much gas in one night that it turns deadly? To test this tall tale, Adam and Jamie first need to build a suitably small bedroom. Then they need a test subject. Yes, the ever unfortunate Buster.
There we go.
And with the room sealed up, everything's ready for the gas. The analysis of Adam's airstrike showed that most Flatus gases are harmless, but some can be fatal in high doses. To find the mythical killer, they're going to test each noxious gas in turn. starting with carbon dioxide.
The reason we're going to start with CO2 is because of all the constituent gases that make up your flatus. It's the one we think it really has the highest potential to be the most deadly and come out in amounts large enough to actually be plausible.
Regular air does contain carbon dioxide, but there's so little of it, just 0.03%, that it's harmless. But at higher concentrations, it turns nasty.
At concentrations of about 2%, we have cerebral dilation, we have increased blood pressure, nausea, confusion, some minor side effects like that. At about 8%, we have nausea and vomiting. At about 10%, we have death within minutes.
And to see if they can get to the magic 10%, they're going to go for broke.
The largest flatus recorded in the research we have is 170 milliliters per hour. And given that the largest amount of CO2 in flatus in the study we have is 80%, that's 140 milliliters of flatus. This might be the meanest thing we've ever done to him.
Slow but deadly.
But how deadly will this record level of CO2 from flatus really be?
3, 2, 1. All right. That is 1 hour's worth of CO2 in flatus production.
Well, we're showing absolutely no change on the meter.
The meter's staying at 0.03%, nowhere near the 10% needed for fatality.
So I'm going to add another hour's worth of CO2 in flatus. That'll be 2 hours total, 280 milliliters of CO2.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Will another hour's worth of record-breaking flatus have any effect?
No difference.
Let's add 2 more hours. That's half the night. If we don't see any change in the reading, we'll add 4 more hours.
Okay.
We'll get to 8 hours, full 8 hours sleep.
With no change in the reading so far, they decided to pull out all the stops and add a whole night's worth of gas.
And that is 8 hours worth of flatus, of CO2 from flatus entered into Buster's little bedroom. What does the meter say?
Well, we're actually up to 0.06%.
The levels doubled, but it's still way too low to be deadly.
If you want to get to 10%, 2,600 hours. It's 110 days to reach the lethal limit of CO2 in a sealed room if all you're doing is passing gas. Look, breathing is going to cost much more CO2 production than flatus.
Ain't that the truth? The MythBusters saw how deadly exhaled CO2 could be when they tested the myth buried alive.
It's hot. That's the only thing that I don't like.
But if Jamie thinks he's done his time overdosing on carbon dioxide, well, then he's very much mistaken.
My math says it would only take 7 hours of producing CO2 with your exhalation to reach a deadly amount in here, and Jamie's going to go in and test it.
To see whether the man in the myth could have breathed himself to death, it's out with Buster and in with Jamie, who's going to get a little extra care.
How exactly are we going to be monitoring Jamie?
We're going to put a cardiac monitor on him, and we're going to use the pulse ox to register the oxygen saturation in his blood.
They're taking no chances, since Adam reckons it'll only take 7 hours to get to potentially fatal levels.
Dead man walking.
Being sealed up in a small room to go to sleep in may sound relaxing, but not when the carbon dioxide level is rising.
20 minutes, okay. Let's see here. Wow. The CO2 concentration is 0.14.
Already, breathing has produced twice as much CO2 as 8 hours worth of flatulence. But there's still less of the gas than Adam's math predicted.
My math was based on a worst case scenario of someone respirating heavily, deep breaths, and producing as much CO2 as has been recorded.
Right.
So in a room this size, exactly how long would it take for death by breathing to occur?
We're at 1.28% now. Wow, you've been in there for 4 hours. If you extrapolate that out, it takes 4 hours to get to 1.3%. I mean, we're talking somewhere around 36 hours to get to 10%.
36 hours, way too long to have killed the sleeping man in the myth.
CO2 production by respiration and suffocation from that is impossible overnight. And so when you figure that CO2 production as a result of flatus is minuscule in comparison, it's virtually impossible to die from suffocation, from CO2 poisoning by flatus.
So the mythical killer wasn't CO2. Neither breathing nor flatus can raise the level to a deadly amount in just one night. Could any other colon components be the culprit?
There's a lot of other gases that flatus is comprised of, and unless we can find one of those that could be potentially deadly within 8 hours, this myth is totally busted.
To find out, Adam hits the books to calculate whether any other gluteal gases are even theoretically possible. Like methane, deadly at 2%. But how long would that take?
441 days.
So methane's out the window. What about hydrogen sulfide?
That's 193,220 episodes of flatus, or 22 years of solid gas passing. That's a commitment.
They did the math for all gastric gases and found that death by flatus would take anything from 4 months to 22 years. This malodorous myth is busted. In the Ben Franklin myth, the team has shown that a key tied to a kite string can get charged up, but the famous spark has so far proved elusive.
Listen to me.
So they're going to up the ante.
Take me to your leader.
And Jamie's Van der Graaf generator should provide the necessary power. It's capable of generating a charge of 100,000 volts. And if this charge strikes the kite,
That is cool.
it may be powerful enough to travel down the string and then arc from the key to the finger.
Well, without going out into a rainstorm to fly our kite, which would be really dangerous, we're actually going to use the Van de Graaff generator to generate a high voltage, and that would simulate the charge separation that you would find high up in the atmosphere where the clouds are on a cloudy, very cloudy or rainy day.
It's the next best thing to a thunderstorm and should be much more powerful than their static charge beach test. The team is going to position Carrie's kite next to the generator, run 500 feet of traditional twine around the car park, and then wait to see if the charge will jump from the antique key at the end.
Do not use for electrical work or firefighting.
These are perfect.
This time, to maximize their chance of a spark, they're going with wet string straight away.
I'm wetting the string to replicate the rain and the gathering storm in which Benjamin Franklin would be flying his kite.
3, 2, 1. That's pretty funny.
Holy cow!
See, we got the Van de Graaff working right.
Oh yeah, it's working all right. Okay, I'm at 18 kilovolts at 1 foot.
The Van der Graaf is packing quite a punch, but what's happening with the key?
5 kilovolts, it's only been about 30 seconds.
The string is conducting! It's conducting!
After a few more minutes, the reading reaches 15,000 volts, so everyone's buzzing for the spark test.
Nothing.
They've had no luck so far.
Boring.
But all is not lost.
I'm just gonna move the kite close to the Van de Graaff so that we can actually get it to discharge onto the kite.
If they can get a strike right onto the kite, they should boost their chances of getting an arc from the key. It's hardly a lightning bolt, but will it be enough?
It's very tiny, but...
Blink and you'll miss it, but there is a tiny spark which has a big repercussion. Electricity can be conducted down a kite string to a key and then jump to a finger. Test 2 passed. But for test 3, if the charge was 10,000 times stronger, could Franklin have survived?
Well, obviously we can't fly a kite out in a storm because it's completely dangerous.
Way too dangerous. Kids at home, do not try that.
So maybe we need a little more of a controlled circumstance?
How about the facility the electric company has? We used it in phone and a lightning storm.
Well, we're gonna have to find a subject to test this stuff on because I'm not gonna do it. And I know you guys aren't gonna do it.
Okay, so maybe we're gonna build a Ben Franklin.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to build a whole ballistics gel body, so maybe we can just do a torso, a couple hands, and a couple feet, and then have a resistor in the middle that would match the conductivity of the human body.
For the final part of the circuit, they're going to build a ballistics gel Ben Franklin to see whether he could survive the biggest jolt the electric company can throw at his kite. And it's down to Tori to build him. His head, hands, and feet will be made from that old MythBusters favorite.
Ballistics gel, I love it.
While his skeleton will be made from something a little more solid.
What I'm gonna use is some PVC pipe, you know, for legs, arms. This is gonna give me my structure to keep him standing up straight. It's also non-conductive because we don't wanna change the resistance of the body.
Tori's doing everything he can to ensure that his Franklin body double is as close to human as possible. And once Headcase Ben is all set, the team bolts for the Pacific Gas and Electric Test Facility to fly this fable once and for all.
Now that's a death ray.
People of Earth, submit to me!
In this Thunderdome, they can generate man-made lightning, pulsing with almost 1,000,000 volts. So the team is going to position the kite next to the power line and wait to strike lucky. Something which, outside this test facility, is very, very dangerous.
The real problem with flying your kite near a power line is that the kite doesn't have to touch the power line for an arc to occur. And it's a real hazard to anyone who's trying to do anything near a power line.
And never fly a kite with metal on it, or with metal twine. It's just not sensible, as the team is about to see.
My dastardly scheme, it's coming together.
With ballistics gel Franklin's heart monitor wired up, and the key within touching distance of his finger, Carrie's kite is hauled up to the power line to see if Franklin will live or fry.
We're gonna shock the crap out of Ben.
In Facts About Flatulence, it's time to test an all-time classic. We've all heard it. Beans, beans, good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you produce flatus. Or do you? The MythBusters are going to lift the lid on this stinky story.
So Adam, you know, a lot of people may not realize that the gas contained in flatus can come from a couple of different sources.
It's true. The first type is actually pretty much like a butt burp. Just as swallowed air can be belched out of your mouth, it can also make its way all the way through your system and come out the other end. The other way is from the breakdown of food in your gut. There are bacteria, enzymes, and acids in there that when they break down your food during digestion, they create gas as a byproduct.
And of course, different types of food would create different quantities of gas, right?
That's what we're testing. And apparently, these bacteria go ballistic for beans.
To put this to the test, the team has spent 3 days recording every gas movement to try to establish their average rate of flatus output on a regular, run-of-the-mill diet. And the results are in.
You're going on average about 6, 6, 6. Jimmy's pretty consistent. I allocate myself to 6 gas passings per day.
But Adam's diary is a little more detailed.
7:31 a.m., nice loud brap, followed by 2 pops. 7:32 a.m., long trombone, 1 second long.
And so what exactly are we going to do with this information, this scientific information about brats and pops?
Look, you might have just a single clap, like a, you know, one of those. And then the next day, you might eat a whole bunch of beans, and you might only have 1 gas passing, but it might be a, you know, like a full-on kind of grandmother pop.
Fascinating. So once on the diets, they'll have a stab at recording frequency and volume to compare it to the baselines. On a regular diet, in a normal day, they know that Carrie passes gas 3 times, Jamie 6, and Adam an impressive 10. So, bring on the beans.
Refried beans, refried pinto, refried black beans.
There's a hill of beans, and they're all for Adam, because the others are going to be eating different, supposedly flatus-inducing diets. Jamie's going to be munching nothing but meat.
New York steak, that's 1 meal.
While Carrie is on the bubbles. Fizzy drinks are another alleged gas producer. And back at the shop, dinner is served.
I figure I'll start this experiment with a nice ribeye steak. I figure I'll save the New York strip for dinner.
Jamie seems to have the lion's share of the diet, especially when compared to Adam.
Oh. It's not bad. Weird. It's not bad.
But that's definitely better than Carrie, who's on a 24-hour carbonated liquid menu.
Oh, I hope my dentist isn't watching.
Once it's all gone down the hatch, the team goes back to work, where they keep recording any gas production. And after a whole day of diligently monitoring all emissions, are any patterns emerging?
I haven't been doing much more today than I normally do. I've logged 8 today, and 4 of those were little like those kind.
I have logged 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Jamie?
6. It's about average.
That's what it was at lunchtime.
Yeah, I haven't had any since.
With no conclusions yet, they all continued their diets at home. But did they sleep soundly, or did things go bump in the night?
All right, kids, it's been 24 hours on the new diet. What were the results?
Well, my meat diet cut my flatulence production by about 50%.
Carrie?
I doubled. I went from a 2 to a 5 with carbonated beverages.
Right on.
With a ton of belching.
Everything that wasn't a belch came out the other end. I had stunning results on the beans. I had 9 during the day, 11 more late at night and early in the morning. I didn't even count the ones while I was sleeping, so it was like a 100% increase for me, too.
You're lucky, family.
The results are in. For this crew at least, meat is busted, while bubbly beverages and beans are confirmed big time. So, bring on the final flatulent fact.
So how about the myth that lighting a match after you've passed gas will get rid of the smell?
Well, the question there is it eliminating the smelly gases, or is it actually just masking it with the smell of a burnt match?
Matches have long been the friend of those with stenchy stomachs. But do they fight the flatus by burning off the smelly gases, or do they just conceal the deal? To find out, they've got the 2 smelliest gases that were in Adam's flatus, hydrogen sulfide and methyl mercaptan.
May have pungent or rotten egg odor.
They're going to inject a known concentration of these flammable fumes, one by one, into Adam's sealed chamber.
I'm just taping it up so that it actually holds the gas we're going to put in and doesn't let any air in.
Then they'll light Jamie's remote-controlled match to see if the smelly gas concentration changes.
And there we go.
With a hydrogen sulfide meter in the chamber, it's that gas that they add first.
It's stabilized at 76 parts per million. It's been that way for several minutes. There's no circulation going on here. I've taped up all the little leaks. So I think it's time to hit the match and see whether that changes things, all right?
All right, let's do it.
With the match lit and fully burnt, has the concentration of hydrogen sulfide changed at all?
Still reading the exact same thing, 76 parts per million that it was when we started.
The match has had no effect on the hydrogen sulfide level, so it's time for test 2, methyl mercaptan.
That's not the friendly sort of rotten egg smell that smells like propane.
No, it's the right stuff, to be sure.
That smells like poo.
Different gas, same result. No change in concentration.
The idea that burning a match is actually consuming the smelly gases of Flatus turns out to be totally bogus. Meter worked fine, our chamber worked great, lit a match, didn't notice any drop in the parts per million.
So a match doesn't burn off the smell. It just masks it with its own whiff. But does it conceal both stinky Flatus gases equally?
Excellent. I've rigged a sniff tube onto our chamber. We're gonna feed a little more of the smelly gases in there. We're gonna light a match, and then we're gonna bring out an impartial viewer who hasn't been exposed to these stinky things all day, and they're gonna waft at the sniff tube and tell us if the smell is worse or better or hasn't changed at all.
Well, in the first of these sniffing tests, an hour's worth of hydrogen sulfide from Flatus is injected into the chamber for lucky researcher John to inhale.
I want to do a pre-match lighting smell test. You're going to give us a scale of 1 to 10, and then stand back, we'll light the match, and then I want you to give us a post-match lighting 1 to 10 if you notice any difference at all.
Okay.
All right? So you ready?
Pre-match, I'm ready.
Step in. You got something?
I would give it a 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
5.5.
So keep that in your head. Stand back over here. Jamie, let's light the match.
Okay, lighting the match.
The nose.
About the same.
About the same? Really?
According to the nose, the match has had little masking effect on the hydrogen sulfide. So what about the other killer component? An hour's worth of methyl mercaptan.
On a scale of 1 to 10, this was somewhere around a 4.
Okay.
So it's a pre-match 4 for the mercaptan. But will this one change?
Not as prevalent. It wasn't very intense to begin with. It was about a 4, but I would drop it down to maybe a 2.
Fantastic. That's a bona fide result. It didn't diminish the smell of the hydrogen sulfide, but it did of the methyl mercaptans. Results, man! That's what it's all about.
Storm kite flyers, beware. A bolt of lightning can have over 100 million volts of power. That's way higher than anything humans can replicate. But at the Franklin Thunderdome, the team is going to give the kite its best shot.
We've gone to great pains to set up the experiment to Franklin's original specifications in this controlled environment. And we're going to test under a variety of conditions, wet string, dry string, and what we're really after is what the effect is on the person who's holding the kite.
It's the third and most crucial part of this myth busting. With a 700,000 volt man-made strike, will Franklin turn to toast? Well, Gelatin Ben is standing by to find out. His kite's flying high, the key's next to his finger, and his heart monitor's wired up. Just 6 milliamps across the heart, and Franklin will fly his last.
What I hope's gonna happen is that we're gonna see something spectacular, that the lightning is gonna strike that copper rod, travel down this string, hit the key, arc over to his finger, and then just light him on fire.
Okay, I'm going hot.
Going hot.
We're at 60,000 volts.
60,000 volts.
And for this first test, they're using the dry string.
400,000.
The voltage is climbing fast.
It's actually kind of terrifying. I'm kind of filled with a little dread here.
Here's our lightning.
A special camera called a Corona Cam shows just how much electricity is being slapped onto the kite. It really is in severe shock. But Ben is undeterred. There's no sparking from the key. So it's out with the dry string and in with the wet.
So now we're gonna start our second test, so we had to wet the string down, which hopefully will conduct the electricity a little bit better.
Remember, it was the wet string that got the tiny spark with the Van der Graaf.
This should be the main event.
Really?
Yeah.
This is gonna be it, huh?
Bring her up.
300,000.
As the voltage rises, one big bolt could frazzle Franklin. But then, disaster strikes.
Oh, it just burned the string.
With the string severed, there's no way for the lightning to reach the key.
The voltage just increased enough to catch the string on fire.
This is not something that I expected, actually.
The slowly building charge up top singed the string, and Grant is stumped for a solution until Tori has a brainwave.
What's happening right now is we're pumping voltage through our string, and it's catching on fire, obviously, we just saw. Is there a way that we can build a charge at the generator and then raise the kite into it so that it's an instant discharge?
It's an ingenious idea that may just prevent the string from igniting.
Okay, going hot.
We're at 440,000 volts. We're going to go to 480.
With the kite suspended well out of the way, the charge up top has reached 500,000 volts.
Ready? All right, should we send the kite in?
As the kite reaches its highest height, bingo! They get their instant discharge. But this time, there's another problem.
Touching the ground now.
Oh, shoot, look at that. I'm not seeing any triggers. It's hitting the ground. Oh, it's arcing to the ground.
Shut her down.
The kite did get a direct strike, but because the string was sagging so low, the charge arced to the floor and never reached the key.
This time what we're gonna do is we're gonna raise that string up so it doesn't ground out and that we'll get that lightning strike that we're looking for.
With Gelatin Franklin standing by and the authentic key in position, the generator's charge is rising fast.
And never get tired of hearing that noise.
480,000.
480,000 volts. Should we send it up? Let's send it up.
There she goes. Up and away.
With the kite approaching the danger zone, it's now or never for this myth.
There it goes.
They've struck gold. The kite is hit repeatedly, and the charge does travel down the wet string where it finally jumps from the key to Franklin's finger. But after that shock, does he still have a heart?
And it looks like you got enough to kill him.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Just enough. Ben would be dead.
Definitely dead.
Grant's heart monitor reading proves that Franklin would have fried. Even this man-made lightning contained ample power to kill this famous kite flyer.
This is only a fraction of what a lightning bolt would be. We're looking at just a tiny, tiny, tiny little lightning bolt here. And we fried Ben out. Could you imagine if it was a real storm and a real lightning bolt?
There'd be no way he'd survive.
He'd be dead.
Smoke straight down the string, straight through his heart.
Yeah.
And we killed a dead president.
He was never president.
Wasn't he? Damn it. All right, so when we started this myth, we stated that Ben Franklin going out, flying a kite in a storm, gets hit by lightning. That was the myth.
He'd definitely get killed if he flew a kite in a lightning storm. I mean, we've definitely proven that. But, I mean, the experiment itself, that's pretty feasible. I mean, you can get electricity down a kite string.
Not only is it feasible, we did it ourselves, and we got a shock off the key.
Yeah, and that was on a dry day, not too cloudy, and we were still able to get that.
The experiment itself.
Confirmed.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
But the myth is a story, busted.
That was busted.